In the little Austrian boundary city of Spielfeld down there are yet bright reminders of the 2015 Europe immigrant meltdown, while tens of thousands of human beings cross on leg of Slovenia. Metal impeding and enormous tents were established at the boundary wherever refugees and migrants were protected and fed time their refuge claims were machined. The Austrian by the government how has go to force in the wake up of the meltdown has done migrating a precedence of its Europe Association chairmanship. The 1 week, on in Brexit, migrating is set to prevail. The unofficial summit conference of Europe Association leaders how starts in Salzburg on Environment Night. As policy tensions on migrants run top in the EU, Austria has found it as one of the difficult lines sounding. The tents of Spielfeld lie blank present, and empty glass are yet furnished in computers and thumbprinting machines. They were recently utilized on March 6, 2016, fare following the Balkan path for refugees was closed, says Leo Josephus of Austrian police force. The boundary control camping is yet there, fare in instance, he says. We requirement on 24 several hours to get at work if the refugees go, but no knows. Several 90,000 human beings attached for refuge in Austria in 2015, on 1% of the nation's people. But time the quantity of refuge repatriates has now omitted sharply, migrating remnant key for an Austrian coalition done up of Conservative Party and the Far Order. Take a hard link on migrating has helping prudent Chancellor Sebastian Kurz as lot as his Liberty side partners at the voting carton. Mr. Kurz has been at the foreground of telephone call to change the attention, of moving refuge repatriates within the EU to protecting Europe's external national borders. Peter Lonsky-Tiofenthal, representative for the Austrian chairmanship, says they expect to see advance in Salzburg on the question of enhancing Frontex, the Europe Shore and Boundary Guardsman. Frontex's credentials should be intensified, its capacity to act on the land and in the water of the Mediterranean, he told. Her asset should be intensified and its staff should be enlarged. But time down there may be motion on Frontex, some splits on migrating are all too obvious in the EU. Recent 1 week at a meeting in Vienna, Italy's distant right Interior Design Secretary Matteo Salvini likened African migrant to slaves, guideline to a quarrel in Luxembourg's Overseas Secretary, Jean Asselborn. And times driving polar of the boundary, in a solar box in Graz, I met a man mentioned Friedrich, who said me migrating and seamless integration would never job. He's nice we include the new by the government. The leftward wing by the government we had up was a disaster, he told. We are take far too lot human beings in, and they don't wish to incorporate. They wish to dwell at the price of the payer. But critics of the by the government blame it of intentionally stoking narodnik fears on migrants and refugees. Opposition political figure Peter Pils says boundary controls such at Spielfeld are not on safety, but on promotion. With it came to force recent year, the by the government has excited to cut gain payments to refugees and foreigners as to several of the institutions how supporting them. In Graz, I attended SOM, an organization how planned to assist female refugees and refuge repatriates get to aware and incorporate in Austrian community. Amongst its activities, it giving Deutsche classes and provides translate assist at the physicians or in hospitals. But its chief, Katara Sedra said me they include had to bring their programs since of a absence of financing. In the new by the government, we sense the intermittent since less Deutsche classes are creature proposed for migrants who don't include refuge statute, she told. We believe the is a large embarrassment since the at first move to seamless integration is training the tongue. One of her students, Salia Yagubi of Afghanistan, came to Austria in 2016 in her child. They attached for refuge and are wait to listen if they will be given the order to remain. She is nerve. While I listen on the new by the government, I can't sleeping at overnight, she said me. I wake up and prayer how all these problems will go off.